Do the All Blacks have a fly-off depth issue, or can Razor rotate his players to make it work? All Blacks are 3 tests in under new coach Scott Robinson and have started Dmac, Damian Mckenzie at fly-off for all 3 of those games. Dmac has played full 80 minutes in all 3 of those games, with Razor not looking at anyone else to share that fly-off spot. The only other viable options at 10 in the squad at the moment are Barrett and Perofeta. We all know rugby can be a cruel sport sometimes and injuries do happen. Will the All Blacks be okay if 1 or 2 of these players go down injured? Before we get into it, hit that subscribe, like, leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think. I want this to be more of a discussion than anything else. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of this. Who would you pick? Who wouldn't you? Would you bring someone else in? Let me know in the comments. Hit that subscribe. Let's get into it. So the biggest question on everyone's mind when Richie Mo'unga signed in Japan after the 2023 Rugby World Cup was who can fill that illustrious fly-off spot for the All Blacks. Obviously, Damian Mckenzie rose up as out-and-out favourite. Rightly so. His form in the Super Rugby was fantastic, immense. Top point scorer, and led the Chiefs to a really successful season. Led the Chiefs to a final where they fell short, and this earned him the top spot or the first crack at the fly-off position for the All Blacks. With Stephen Perofeta starting at 15 and Barrett on the bench. Dmac had a shaky start in the first test versus England, missed a few kicks, while Perofeta set up a beautiful try from the back and Barrett was on the bench. The second test saw the same rotation in Dmac starting at 10, Perofeta at 15 and Barrett on the bench. We all know what happened in that game with Barrett coming on and stealing the show. Razor then opts for Dmac at 10 and Barrett at 15 for the Fiji game, with Perofeta totally left out of the squad. With Dmac playing all 3 games, full 80 minutes, the question needs to be asked, who jumps in at 10 if Dmac goes down? Now, I'm not wishing an injury on anyone at all. I'm talking hypotheticals here. I'm talking, we know how grueling rugby can be, especially this Rugby Championship that is coming up. And with Damian Mckenzie being given the 10 spot, but being given the 10 spot for the full 80 minutes, each game he's played under Razor at the moment, the injury is not a matter of if he gets injured. It's at this point, it's a matter of when he gets injured, because you play full 80 minutes, that top level rugby, something's got to give. Something's got to give. And we haven't seen anyone step in to fill that void as the second choice 5'8" as of yet. At the moment, I would say Barrett is my second man up. We all know what he has done in the past in that All Blacks, in that 10 jumper. Man has won the World Cups. He's fantastic. Been player of the year that many times. Oh, man. And he's just... what he brought to the All Blacks in his prime was unreal, untouchable at some points. But the fact of how much impact he brings on off the bench, and yes, he is getting a little bit older. He is signed until the 2027 Rugby World Cup. So there is that in mind. All Blacks do still see Barrett as being part of the squad for the next at least 3-4 years. But for me, it's who they're building up to take over in a sense. If Dmac is your starting, Barrett is kind of your second choice for fly-off. That only leaves really Perofeta as the cover for 10/15. He would have to start, or Barrett would have to start, one of them on the bench to cover those spots. Recent news of Will Jordan potentially being fit will definitely bolster this fullback stocks, or the squad, the All Black stocks. He's one of the biggest game breakers in the game at the moment, Will Jordan. Yes, coming off the back of a very long-term injury. So how he goes will remain to be seen. Hey, I'm pretty good with the words, boy. But he's coming back. I think he'll be playing for the Tasman Marco first to get a bit of game time under his belt. So they definitely won't rush him in straight into the thick of it. But the stocks at 10 and how Razor is going to manage Dmac's workload throughout the Rugby Championship is the big question. Don't get me wrong, I love Dmac at 10. Kicks well, has one of the meanest attacking instincts or visions of the game. Kicks well off the tee when he wants to. But the biggest question for me is like, what if he gets injured? Again, I don't want him to get injured. I'm talking about hypotheticals. I'm talking who's the next man up? That next man up mentality. Who is the next man up for the All Blacks if Dmac does go down? Do ABs need to bring in another out-and-out 10 or 15 into the squad? Someone like Brett Cameron or someone like Ruben Love. There's a few off the top of my head that I'm missing that could be brought into the squad. Or do they continue with the rotation of Damian Mckenzie, Barrett and Perofeta, swapping them, interchanging them between 10, 15 and on the bench, and hope that no one gets injured? That is the big question. Yes, like I said, Will Jordan, I think he will need a couple of games in the NPC or the Mitre 10 before he gets pulled up into test level footy again. But it is a question, a massive question. Richie Mo'unga, I think he has also said that he will definitely still play another season in Japan and then come back, maybe, potentially, who knows. Questions. I'm just putting it out there, hypotheticals. Let me know in the comments. I'd love this to be a discussion. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Who's your starting? Who's your backup 10? Who starts at 10? Who starts at 15? Who's on the bench? How is that rotation working for you? Let me know in the comments. Hit that subscribe, and I'll see you next time.